right on time. Show this. All right, and we are live.
We are live.
718. Man, everything is great.
Yeah, you might have to turn that to the side a little bit. I don't think they can see me.
Yeah, we gotta make sure they see the handsome, the star of the show.
Nigga, you gonna cut that star shit out.
So we're not gonna be here before you guys long. First thing, like and share the video for anyone who watches. We can continue to.
Yeah, I'm over here sipping on air, boy. I need some etiquette here. I'm doing too much right now.
Nah, you fine, brother. Nothing wrong with sipping on something.
Little Perrier.
Listen, man, Perrier is good for the heart, good for the soul, brother.
Yeah.
So today's topic, and I was given this inspiration from watching the Supreme Team documentary on Showtime via Hulu about basically the crack epidemic during the 80s and early 90s. And I wanted to discuss this because a lot of the rifts that are in our community today has a lot to do with the actual crack epidemic. You know, I always tell people when you're doing any type of studies, everything have an origin. And that's why, you know, when you look at the male and female dynamic in the African American communities or American Black communities, you see that the rift is huge, and a lot of it has to do with, starting from the movie Claudine, like I always say, the advancement of the welfare system, and then when Blacks went to work in mass and the industrialization of America in the late 70s and early 80s, which gives you Reaganomics. You know, supply side economics, trickle down economics, which also gave you the crack epidemic. And I know Obsession has, first of all, please subscribe, Obsession, your channels, your Instagram. Oh, you on the phone.
Sorry about that, man. I would not have taken a call on while we live, but it was absolutely business.
Nah, listen, man, business first.
Yeah, so I had to handle that real quick. My channel is on YouTube is DJ Obsession, but you got to spell it out DEEJAY OBSESSION. And I started a series a couple of years ago. I felt like talking about the crack era, so I only did 3 episodes, and every day. And I'm not kidding. Well, no, let me be honest. Maybe 3 or 4 times a week, someone hits me up from that and wants to know like when I'm going to do part 4.
Facts.
So I guess it's something I have to continue. And I was just being honest, you know, just letting people know like what happened back then and how it was in Brooklyn. You know, I was just being honest. You know, I mean, I didn't paint myself in this great light. I was just dead honest about what happened. You know what I mean? I didn't try to make it sound better than it was or glorify anything. I just told you what happened. So if you want to check it out, it's on my channel. It's called Tales from the Crack Era.
Facts. Yeah, I mean, I could tell you that for me, I had the bird's eye view because I was lucky to not have a mom and dad or an immediate family member succumb to the crack epidemic.
Right.
But I had a lot of grammar school friends that definitely had to deal with that.
Yeah, it was terrible, man. It was pretty, man, it was pretty heavy. It was extremely heavy.
It was. And the one thing I would say, just walking to the studio real quick, I seen is like you could see the disparaging difference between normalized white America and Black America because of it.
Yeah.
You see the remnants of it, right? You see your mom and dad who were boomers, not really be able to enjoy their quality of life in their later ages because of the crack epidemic.
Yeah. I mean, I actually have a couple of aunts who are still battling with drug addiction that got caught up from way back then. You know, and it's sad to see, you know, when they come around and it's like, damn, you still, you know, like you don't want to be disparaging and disrespectful, but you can't help but feel like, like, when are you gonna really, like, have you not hit rock bottom? You probably hit rock bottom about 5-10 times by now.
Yes.
But, you know, it's like, when are you gonna get off this shit? You know, but
Yo, it is
what it is, man.
the one thing I've seen that crack did, it broke male to their lowest form, the lowest common denominator. It broke women to their lowest common denominator.
Yeah.
Right. And you know, I think that the one thing is just let's look at it in dating terms, right? If a man walks up to a woman and say, "I collect scrap metal for a living,"
yeah,
you understand?
Because that was super heavy. That was a big deal back then. It was that scrap metal game.
Right.
Was a big deal back in that crack era. Because, like, you know, if you listen to my Tales from the Crack Era, I spoke on that. Like, you know, women were able to sell their bodies, but men, they had to become really creative to get money.
Real creative.
And that's where the scrap metal game came in. Like, they were literally breaking in houses or apartments or abandoned buildings and stealing all the pipes out of the walls and shit like that. So
Facts.
It's crazy.
Facts. Another thing I seen, right? Like, so I'm gonna just tell you a couple things that I experienced. I was in first grade. My memory's like Elvis. So I was in first grade. And so there was a kid, I'm gonna just say his name is Twan, right? I'm not gonna say his name for respect purposes. He was supposed to play George Washington in our play. And so I was the understudy at the time, which I didn't, you know, you're a little kid, you don't know what an understudy is, right? Mm-hmm. So I was the understudy. So I had another part in the actual play. And so the day of the play comes around, and it was an after school play. So we had to come back to school at 7:00. I'll never forget it. 7:00 at night, or maybe 6. And Antoine doesn't show. Oh, damn! I said this name. Antoine doesn't show up. And 6:30 comes around, he doesn't show up. 7:00 comes around. My teacher at the time, Miss Rouse, shoves the paper in my chest. I said, "What's this?" "Oh, you're George Washington." So I'm like, "What?" "Yeah, you George Washington." Threw me on stage. I had to read it. She was like, "Well, since you're the understudy, you're going to just read off the paper. You don't have to memorize these lines." So I said, "Okay, cool." So I did that. And then the very next day, Miss Rao, we're in class. Miss Rao angry. She's like furious. And she goes to him and says, "You know, we had this play, blah, 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 blah. Why you ain't come to the play, blah, blah, blah." And he said, "Our lights was turned off." I was like, "Yo." And then and there is when I knew, I'll never forget, he came to me in private and was like, "Yo, you know, my mom's does this, my mom's does that." I was like, "Word?" Now, mind you, as little kids, you don't know. You understand? I'm in first grade.
Right.
So you don't even understand the remnants of that. You understand where I'm coming from?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Another thing I saw was a girl that lived next door to me, but she didn't live with her mom, but she lived with her grandparents. And we know what her mom did. I was in like 5th grade, and we had these huge windows in our class, and they were open. And I remember looking out the window and seeing her mom just cop right there.
It was very common, man. I mean, I saw tons of that back then. You know, it was almost like a way of life. And I could tell you, man, from my stepfather, he unfortunately got hooked on crack. So living in the house with a crackhead was crazy. You know what I mean? I would have to hide. I had like the little handheld video games. A couple of them got missing. You know, my mom bought them back for me, and I had to have the wherewithal to hide them. You know what I mean? And not under a mattress. I had to get really creative because they're going to look under the mattress. You know what I mean?
You're for real?
Yeah, my step-pops, man.
That's crazy, man.
You know, he would steal my mom's money. They would, you know, constantly arguing and fighting. And it was crazy, man, because, you know, he wanted crack. It was like living with Gator from Jungle Fever.
Now, mind you, you didn't even hit that installment on your Tales from the Crack Era.
No, I didn't even mention that. But yeah, he was absolutely, he was a crackhead. I can remember a time he got me this job at this warehouse. Like he was working at this warehouse where you got paid daily. It was like $50 a day. Now, you remember, this was like back in the day. So we talking, you know, I was a kid, so this had to be around 88, 89, somewhere around there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So $50 a day for me was cool. You know, $250 a week, I'm happy with
Facts.
that. You know,
At that time,
and it was a place that sold luggage. So you literally was packing luggage. They were in boxes.
right.
So you were packing them in trucks all day, and they were, you know, going where they were going. We both got paid.
Mm-hmm.
We both left.
Mm-hmm.
I remember going to the record store downtown before I went home. And by the time I got home,
Mm-hmm.
I was going up the stairs and he was coming down and he was like, look here, let me hold $20 till tomorrow.
Oh man.
So when we go back to work and get paid, and I'll give you the $20 out of that.
Oh.
And I told him no. I was like, nah. Like
no choice.
I just bought like $20 worth of records, you know what I mean? I worried about little money, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like no. And he got mad at me, you know what I mean? He was really in his feelings, but I knew he was spending it on crack, you know. It was crazy, man.
I seen what that did to people, man. Like, I know 2 of my uncles was on it like real hard, and one of them, you know, he was a hooper, man. He was good at basketball, but he ruined his life dealing with, you know, crack, bro, because he just got addicted to it, and he was good too. And my other uncle, he went so far with it that he would, you know, penny pinch from everybody around the family to go get his fix, bro. It was crazy seeing that as a kid. I mean, I've seen it cooked up. I've seen it, you know, sold.
Damn.
You know, my dad was doing it, you know what I'm saying? But he wasn't on it hard like that. He was more like making money from it. You know, he was selling it.
So he was touting, so you say he was selling it and using it, or he was just selling it?
No, he was using it too. He never did it in front of me.
Yeah.
But, you know, he wasn't on it hard like my uncles was. And I, you know, grew up looking at them and like just the behavior, you know, of needing that fix and trying to, you know, get what they need constantly. It was crazy, man. It was crazy. Yeah. I've never seen nothing like that in my life before, bro.
Yeah, man.
It changed me, man. Like just watching people react that way over a little piece of drug, you know.
Facts.
Facts. And you know, to be like elementary, junior high school age, and to have to act like a normal kid going to school, it was kind of hard to do that as well. Like you had, so you know, imagine like you got the drug dealers shooting each other outside over who gonna sell on which block, right? I got a whole crackhead living in my house, okay, giving my mom's trouble. Okay, and through all of this, I got to go to school and act like nothing is going on, like everything is normal. And you know, there was no therapy or counseling for us. Well, you know, and then will bug me out. It's like I would watch the news and there would be like a tragedy at some school somewhere, and they'll say, the kids they're bringing in therapists to talk to the children, and I'd be like, what they got talking to them for? Like, like somebody died and now they got therapists coming in to talk to everybody. I'm like, shit, somebody died every day on this block. You know what I mean? There's no therapist around here. You know, nobody cares about what's going on with us. So it was real weird, man. But,
let me ask you a question, Obsession. By you being in, you know, you were Brooklyn, right? What area of Brooklyn you think? I mean, obviously all of New York City, but in your, like, what do you think area was hit hardest by that in that isolated area like of Brooklyn? Was it your area, Crown Heights? Was it Brownsville? Was it East New York?
Every hood was the same.
Every hood was the same.
It was no, this place was worse than that place. The only thing I could say was that like East New York was a little more
harder on the eye.
It was a little more grimy in East New York.
East New York.
East New York was a lot like
New York ain't no joke.
I ain't even gonna hold you. Like depending on where you live, you wasn't just like if you met a chick that lived in New York, you thought twice about it. Like where, like Liberty Avenue, or you further down, like by Shepherd or Van Sicklen. Like you wanted to know how far in you had to go because like it was a little thorough over there. But other than that, it wasn't really. I can't say any neighborhood was worse than any in terms of how crack impacted the people that lived there.
Right. The reason why I asked that because if you remember around the New Jack City time, right? Or let's say New Jack City.
Yeah, around 89.
Like if you go to Harlem, there would be pockets of Harlem that look like crack never touched it. And then you turn 3 corners.
Yeah.
Poof.
Nah.
And you were like, yo.
I mean, for the most part, Park Slope and all the white areas were pretty much normal because the white people came to our neighborhood.
Yes,
to get
they
high.
did. Yes, they did.
They didn't get high in their community.
No,
they came
didn't.
to our community to get high.
No, they didn't.
So I saw them. They were. Don't think the white people wasn't smoking crack. They were smoking crack too. I mean,
yeah.
We were targeted. Sure. We were absolutely targeted. So I think we felt the brunt of it. But white people were getting high as well. And the cops, they used to turn a blind eye to it, man.
Of course.
So
they were getting paid.
I walked out of my building and I'm coming down the stairs, and at the bottom of the steps there was a police officer, black guy. And coming from behind the stairs was a crackhead and a white police officer. And this cop said the corniest 1950s shit I've ever heard in my life.
Yikes.
He looks at me, this white cop, he looks at me as he's literally, and I'm not making this up, he's stuffing his shirt back in his pants and zipping up and buttoning up.
Wow.
And he turns to me and says, "You ever do her? You ever do her?" I was like, did I ever do her? And I looked at the black cop and I'm like, and I gave him the most shameful look I could give him, like, "You piece of filth. How dare you standing here with this fucking white boy with this crackhead back here?" Like, so many things are wrong right now, you know.
You know what, Chris, let me ask you a question. And in Obsession, you could answer this as well. Okay, by me being a little bit younger than Obsession and being like born right when it said boom, right? I noticed in where I was at in New Jersey, as soon as someone hit the pipe, they were gone. But one time I went to see my grandfather down south, and I seen men work Monday through Friday just to bomb out on crack Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday. To me up here, you seen it within like 2 months. They didn't have a hold on life. Down south, they were weekend warriors. I never seen nothing like that. True story. I'm 16 years old, flew to see my grandfather. These dudes because down there, masonry and bricklaying was big amongst the unskilled labor. So you could make good money just laying brick. It's hot out there. Nobody's around, you know. And this dude, he was like maybe 19. I'm 16. So he's like 19, 20. Him and like 4 dudes. My grandfather was a bootlegger. So he was bootlegging liquor, selling alcohol. So, you know, you ever been down south? Chris, you know, the candy guy, the pickle guy, the liquor guy, right?
Yeah.
So
everything for sure.
Right. So one day, I think it was like I was like a week into being down there, and they was like, "Yo, Lil Duke," my father. They used to call my father Duke. And he like, "Yo, Lil Duke, man, you big now, boy." And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yo, man, what you doing on Friday, man?" And I'm like, "Nothing. I'm just with my grandfather." He said, "Yo, you hanging with us?" I said, "Well, what we gonna do? We gonna get ripped." I ain't know what that was. You know, I'm a square, man. I'm squared in a box of cornflakes, right? So, Friday came, and I see them come with the stem hanging out his pocket. Yo, where Lil Duke at, Frank? Lil Duke was in the back room, door locked, window closed, under the covers like the boogeyman was out there. I ain't want no parts of no crack pipe.
Right.
You feel me?
It's weird shit, man.
Yo, it was the weirdest thing I've ever experienced, man. Could you imagine me now being on crack? Oh, man. Like, yo, but I'm telling you some good stuff. That was one thing that happened. True story. This is one of the funniest stories of all time. This was 2000. It was a woman in the fashion industry that I wanted so bad. And she finally was going to give me the Panadraws. I'll never forget that. So in fashion, you go to Vegas for the fashion show, for the magic show. This person didn't know my real age. And this person's a Facebook friend now, so I'm not gonna say that person's name. So me and this person goes to a party. Now, mind you, I'm below club age in Vegas, and I'll never forget. I'm telling you, I can tell you the club name. It was at the MGM. It was the Rum Jungle. Fubu was throwing a party. I'm sitting there, just saying, "Please, Jesus, just let me in this party so I can go back to this girl's cheap hotel and do the Lord's work. Man. So the person was like, yo, I know everybody. We good. Now, the person didn't know my age, but the person, I was just acting like I forgot my driver's license at the hotel because she was at a different hotel. Don't worry about it. Just hold my hand, right? So we online. She sees Keith Perrin from FUBU and like 2 other people. Because this one, FUBU threw all the dope parties. So I got her hand, right? Boom. We next online. Security's opening the rope. Someone taps him on my shoulder. I turn around. She separates her hand. It's my man. I don't care. I ain't gonna say his name. The dude who was the head of sales for Avarex. Never forget it. Yo, Dre, what up, man? You coming to the booth tomorrow? I'm like, yeah. Me and Rolando come to the booth. He said, I got something for you to try tonight, though, when we get in the party. Now, while I'm talking, I done looked on my shoulder. I don't said the girl name. Lord Jesus. All right, whatever. She ain't watching this video. She went into the party, right? So he has this beautiful white woman with him, whatever. Okay. The next day, I'm mad because when I tried to catch up with Liz, security guard was like, ID, please. ID, please. And I'm like, yo, he threw me out by my neck and like a cart, like watching Jazzy Jeff and Fred.
He was waiting on that moment.
Yeah.
Boom, threw me out by my neck and my ass, right? Boom. Now, very next day, I rushed to his booth. I rushed to this guy's booth, his Avarex booth. It was the show they just opened the doors. He didn't have no accounts with him. He wasn't sitting. I said, yo, what did you want me to try that you made me miss out? He said, blow, crack. I said, what?
Nah.
Bruh, my hands was around his neck for about at least 2 minutes, man.
That's crazy.
Well, I mean, it's kind of common in that industry, though.
Of course. Weekend warriors.
Any kind of entertainment, speaking of weekend warriors, like one of my teachers, she was a crackhead. Like I actually ran into her going into my building when I was a kid.
Christ.
And she was sitting on the steps and I looked at her. I'm like, what the hell?
Christ alive.
And she looks at me and I guess she felt like she owed me an explanation. So she says, I can handle this. Right? She's rationalizing with me. And she says, these people that are running around here, they're what you call crack monsters. I am not a crack monster. I can handle this. Now I'm in school looking at her like, you was in my building smoking crack. Like that's all I could think about. Anytime I seen her, it was never like, how you, I don't even remember her name, like, but the respect was gone. Every time I saw her, it was like tainted. I seen her walking through the school, or if she's in the teacher's lounge or somewhere in the building, it's just like, this woman is a crackhead. I mean, not to sound that fucked up, but as a kid, as a child, she was dirty to me.
All your morals is different.
Yeah, I just couldn't, it's like, what?
Hey, Chris.
In school, she was fine.
Hey, Chris, what part of Houston you think was affected the most by the crack era?
Ooh, man. I would say what they call the Southwest now.
Southwest?
Yeah.
So what's it like over there now?
Huh?
What's it like over there now? Southwest?
I mean, it's real diverse now.
Gentrified?
Well, yeah, because that's like Little Asia.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So they done took over that side of town. So
just like my old neighborhood in Crown Heights is just a lot of white people now. I mean, some black people still live over there, but it was gentrified. It's mostly white people now.
I mean, look outside. When I'm walking up the street.
Yes, La La Land.
I literally seen, what's crazy for being a black person from that era? You see the Goons and you see Utopia in the same picture. And it did something to me before I walked in this door. Cause I seen, I could tell the Goon, Goons was outside today. And then I also saw like people jogging.
yeah.
And it's just like, I just seen somebody across the street, a couple, just looking around like, oh, this is just beautiful. And I'm like, they don't even understand. They walking past some goons.
Yeah.
Woo! Like, it just, Harlem is the same way. Harlem would do that to you too, right? Like,
yeah.
Like, you just see it. You just be like, yo, do they understand what they walking through? And or do they even care? Like, but
they don't care, man. It's just, it's a normal day now.
Yeah, I would say this too, man. You know, Mo is watching. So one of the places that you, no matter what, when you go down there, New Orleans. Oh my God.
Yeah, I've been to New Orleans.
Maybe that's why I don't like the city. When I say I don't like New Orleans, I just don't like that I have to see my people in that type of poverty. It does something to me. It kills me to see it. It's like, it's the type of poverty you be like, yo, there ain't no way out of this. Like, no way.
So you think that was because of the crack?
Well, if you know, with New Orleans, first of all, New Orleans is a lot like the city me and you talked about before, Memphis. So
yeah,
all the money down there is because of slavery, right? You know, the slavery auctions, certain things that took place, all the inherited wealth is through slavery. And another thing is, you know, New Orleans, they were using coke, crack, and dope concurrently. Like, you would see 15-year-olds, 14-year-olds snorting dope. You know, that was, think about it. Think about Turk, Juvie, and BG were all addicted to heroin while they were making hits.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Like, New Orleans.
That's how I looked at Memphis, man.
Yo, Memphis, Lord Jesus.
Bro, they had so much, you know, rundown property.
Yep.
That, you know, it's basically begging you to buy this property, man, and it's cheap.
Yep.
It's cheap. It's crazy how bad Memphis is, man. How you feel about New Orleans? That's how I feel about Memphis.
Yo, I feel this. Listen, Memphis is another city that slavery will open hand smack you in the mouth because they got plantation homes on this one block that go from north to south Memphis on both sides, whipping posts. They got Memphis was one of the first cities that with me and Obsession see now. See, if you go to New York now, all of your deodorant, your condoms, your eye care, your hair care is behind glass and locked. But that's just within like 5 years. 12 years ago, I was in Memphis. They had diapers, Q-tips. Everything was behind glass and locked. And the lady told me, baby, they steal everything down here.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I said, what?
I said, wow, man.
And this is why I had this discussion with this topic, because we don't realize how that implements into our communities and our families. This is why there are no nuclear black homes. Look at how many men were driven out the home because addicted to crack, right? Like, we're just finding out today Obsession's stepfather was, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna tell you something crazy. And this is why I'm such a humble, I try to be as humble and how can I say? I'm very like, I'm very aware of everything. You know, there's a lot of black people that act like their world consists around what they live, right? But when my father died, something hit me where a lot of my classmates who kind of like turned their back on me, especially in grammar school, because I was the fat nerd, came to my funeral and said, your father took us to every game that we needed to play, baseball, basketball, football. He used to come on the block sometime and be like, what y'all niggas doing? I'm sitting there crying like a baby, right? Because my dad was gone. And I'm really crying because I know how painful his death was. But to have people that I wasn't speaking to like that come to me, like at least 5 of them, it was like, yo, your dad took us to every game and sometimes fed us after the game. This is, I didn't even know, because I was home doing homework, man. Watching Saved by the Bell, eating pizza, getting fat, right? But he did that for them. So imagine if he did that for 5 people in my demographic and my peer group, how many people needed a Henry Boyce to do that for them in their neighborhood due to the crack era?
Right.
Yeah, that's tough, man.
Right. Absolutely, man.
So that's why I'm very like particular with that. You understand? I'm very like cognizant of how that works.
That's a good point, because a lot of my homeboys, they were raised by single women, man.
Facts.
Yeah. And the environment will make or break you, right? And because you had so many women who were single and didn't necessarily have, some of them didn't even have boyfriends. It was just them. There was a hardening that went on with certain women. Like they became more domineering, right? They were, when you saw that loud, boisterous woman, you had to kind of understand like where that was coming from. When I look back on it now, I get it, but as a child, I didn't. I just thought that Miss Betty was mean and nasty. I didn't understand that Miss Betty was trying to keep her son from joining up with the Decepticons, because that's who was running Decept. Decept was running. So she was, and on top of that, her daughter don't come home when she's supposed to, and it's a whole lot going on. And I understand now, but in that moment, I didn't get it. Like, and that was, part of the environment changing her. Like, she wasn't able to be the soft grandmother type who made cake for everybody, or come by on Thanksgiving and feed everyone. She was stressed out. She had a lot going on. It impacted her a different way than it would have in Park Slope, where things with Peachy King. Like, she had to worry about somebody coming through that window and stealing.
Facts. Facts.
It was a lot. So I take my hat off to them now, but as a child, I have to be honest and say I didn't understand.
Facts. I mean, I'll be honest with you. My grammar school had to change a whole concept of report card night because kids was ashamed to bring their parents to pick up their report card. I'll never forget that. Now that like when you're older and you can kind of like evaluate things when you get older. Yeah. I look back and there's like 5 to 6. I'm not gonna say their name. They would not bring their parents. And one time, one of the girls actually brought her mom. Her mom actually came to us because she was acting up. And her mom was so ripped on crack. Bruh, she had on a leather trench in May with these dark black sunglasses. Yo, and she was just like, and at that time, this could be spookism, but my grandfather from North Carolina was like, once you smoke crack, it would give you like raccoon eyes if you were like brown skin or light brown skin up into my complexion.
He was trying to keep you off that crack, boy.
They got old remedies.
Don't you smoke that crack now.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Andre, you smoke that crack, you gonna have raccoon eyes.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. And if you notice though, see, people don't wear sunglasses like me because I'm ugly and stylish. They were wearing it back in the day when they were smoking crack. That's a fact. Because my sister, her boyfriend, now that I think about it, smoking crack. And always, I'm telling you. But the point I'm making is, it showed me something. Like, it gives you, people don't understand that how could you have functional relationships if you don't have a functional household to go older? If you see the toxicity of what crack did to your mom or dad, how could you advance past that?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I agree. Mm-hmm.
And we succumb to that in big numbers. You know what I'm saying? Big numbers, man. That's why I just wanted to have this quick discussion.
Yeah. Yeah, I know you got to fly out, right?
Yeah, soon. I'm about 10 minutes. I'm a dip, but yeah, I just wanted to have that quick discussion because I think that a lot of times we have these discussions about these rifts between male and female, but a lot of it started from the Claudine age of the welfare system, which was incentivizing women to kick men out the house and have more kids, and then going to Reaganomics where Black people's finally started to work. And, New York City, right before the crack era hit, outside of the Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens, even Harlem was experiencing a Black uptick in nuclear homes and home ownership. Look at Queens. Queens was literally suburbia America before the crack came, right? And look at Brooklyn. Some of the best made houses in the country are still in Brooklyn, right? Brownsville, beautiful homes, right? I think, some of your area of Crown Heights, beautiful limestone brick face homes. But that crack came, it robbed you of a lot of your American dream for at least 15 years.
Yeah, it did.
You know what I'm saying? I love Snowfall, but sometimes when I watch Snowfall, I gotta look back and be like, damn.
Yeah.
What
Next
was the
level shit?
What was the cost?
Next level shit.
You feel me? What was the cost, man? For anyone who watches this video after we get off, think about that. Think about women you dated. Women, think about men you dated who didn't see a father and their mom sit at the dinner table not even once because of crack, or had that family and then wake up one day and their family's gone because of drugs. Like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, that is people don't understand what we occurred and what we had to endure because of that. You know what I'm saying?
It was absolutely a nightmare, man. It was something I would never want to live through again. I'll tell you that.
I appreciate my dad for that, man. I mean, my dad survived that, but he still took care of me. You know what I'm saying? That's why I salute my dad for that, because like I said, a lot of my homeboys, they did not have fathers, and a lot of them ended up in jail or killed. So
yeah,
and that's the thing too, because I'm telling you, in the South, I seen it a lot, especially that summer. I seen guys work, got up on time, came home on time. Yeah, Friday night hit,
it went down real.
It started at my grandfather's house and ended up in somebody's truck or them little, what's them homes you got in the trailer home. You ain't see them till Monday for them to wait for that truck to pick them up to go lay that brick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Go to Harlem right now. Go to the east side, and it looks like Thriller out there. You know what I'm saying? Go to 125th. Once you cross past where the 456 is, and you get that path mark, man. Like I said, New Orleans is one of them cities. I'm gonna tell you another city, Atlanta. When that sun is up, beautiful. It seemed like as soon as that sun start to set, woo. I mean, one time I was in Little 5 Points and I had to go to a little Walgreens or something they had out there, CVS, and it was 5:30. Sun was, man, I walked out and that sun was setting. It seemed like crackheads was coming with shopping, it was like a movie.
That's crazy.
And I was like, you should have seen my face. I was like, it was like, where did they come from? Atlanta's one of them cities too. You could be on the street and see somebody driving a Bentley and then look across the street, see a guy just shaking in the heat. And you'd be like, Atlanta's one of them cities too, man. And you get somebody that's really from the A and they tell you about Techwood, they tell you about Bowen Homes, they tell you about West Side, Campbellton Road, Old National. Man, listen. It was something to change your life, man. That's why this discussion, is going to be quick, but I felt that we needed it, man. Once again, Obsession on his channel got Tales from the Crack Era, and I'm going to stay in his ear every day until he dropped 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, because it's therapy for the people. For me, it's humility. For the people that went through it, it's therapy.
Yeah, it was heavy, man. It was deep. Listen, just listen to it if you don't mind. Again, the YouTube channel DeeJay OBSESSION. Yeah, and it's Tales from the Crack Era.
Yeah. Bam. Yeah. Real like a $3 bill, bro. It was. I was listening to it today. You know what I'm saying? And it never gets old to me because I close my eyes and I just imagine that era in Brooklyn.
Yeah, it was insane, bro.
You feel me? I just do that. I close my eyes and I just be like, I listen to it and I just zone out. Cause it's just like, I seen it. I want to go deeper, but some of it is my family, that my other family don't know that this member of our family did it.
Right.
And then I saw that person do it, but so it's nothing to succumb to, man. nothing to succumb to, you know, when you're in that position. So, but that's it, man. We'll see y'all either next week or the week after. I finally got my traveling mic. It'll be here while I'm gone, but you know, so we're gonna go down to Houston and interview some ladies around Chris. And I talked to Moo yesterday. He got some people, so I'm gonna go to Houston. We're gonna go to Tampa. We're gonna go and we're gonna talk to all these women, and we're gonna do the Lord's work. We're gonna evangelize and proselytize. we're gonna spread the gospel real quick, man.
Amen, brother.
Word, church on the move. But yeah, man, thank y'all for watching. Whoever watch, share, like, comment, please. If you've experienced and survived the crack era of dating, yeah, you know. And Mo, I might come down to you. I think you're in South Carolina. Let's take a road trip to New Orleans, Mo. I hope you got a gun or something to protect us. You was in the army. So yeah, like, you know, a matter of fact, I talked to Juggy. I talked to Master P boy Juggy. So I'm gonna go down to New Orleans and do something with that too.
That's what's up.
Yeah, man. I just want to say thanks again for another quick show.
Yep.
We out of here.
See y'all next time, man.
Yep.